This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. As promised last month at the town hall meeting, we promised we would have our department heads here this morning to go over what they actually do throughout the resort. I can't talk much louder, I'm sorry. Dave, can you turn that up? Thank you. Again, as we promised last month at the town hall meeting, we agreed we would have our different department heads here today to talk about what they do throughout the resort. That includes landscaping, housekeeping, maintenance, and patrol. So before we get started, though, I'm going to turn it over to Brad, and then Steve Dill wants to address the audience.
Hello and good morning. I wanted to take a quick moment and make a statement about the election and the ballots that we've had come out. Discussion with our lawyers, we discovered that some of the process we were doing incorrectly, and state statute changed a few years ago regarding secret ballots, and that secret ballots were no longer allowed within the state elections. So in order to correct that, that is why you've seen the signature on the ballot as well, to get informed with state statute. So that is why you see the extra signature within the ballots and why you receive them if you do have a paper ballot. The 16-digit code on the electronic ballot is your signature, so that covers you electronically. And I believe Steve wanted to address something as well.
I asked if I could have permission as a resident and as a board member to speak to the audience this morning, and was thankfully given permission to do so. In my 7 years on the board, it has been a challenge at some points in time. It has been very rewarding at other points in time. We have moved forward, and I know that change is difficult. Change is synonymous with different, which is synonymous with new, which is synonymous with not me or bad. I got it. There are some concerns that I have as a resident and as a board member that I feel is important to share. And you can boo me out of here or chase me out of here, but I'm not going until either of those happen. Over the past season, frustration does not even begin to explain how I feel about what has happened in this resort. I have some concerns that I want to share with you, and you may agree with those concerns, or you may think that I'm being crazy. I've been accused of being a lot worse than crazy, so that doesn't bother me in the least. Over the 15 years that I've been here, we have had considerable changes in attitude and involvement of residents. In the song that Dale Evans put together about happy trails, I think the second verse is, keep smiling until then. I don't see many smiles anymore, and I see a lot of people who are irritated and who have chosen to take their own path rather than the path that we need to take for the resort. I'm not sure that we uphold the values of community anymore. We have people who have worked really hard at committee work. The structure of this organization is that committees provide information to the board, and then the board takes that forward. It's not necessary that everyone in the resort agrees with what the board takes forward. We've always had an opportunity as residents to ask questions, and sometimes that resolves the issue, and sometimes it doesn't. It reminds me of my childhood when no was an acceptable answer. I would go to my dad and ask him a question, and if he said no, that was the end of the conversation. If he said, ask your mother, I still had a chance. No is an acceptable answer. Being a board member isn't always fun. We have responsibilities to this resort by law and by purpose. We have a fiduciary responsibility. We try to uphold that. We try to get reserves to the point where they will do what they're supposed to do. We've made huge progress in the last 7 years. I hope people do recognize that. We're done spending $1 million every year for roads and roofs. Finally. That took 8 years. Jim Mehring started that before I came on the board 7 years ago. Another thing I'm concerned about is that we have not always been respectful to other residents and people. We speak it out of anger and frustration, and I'm not sure how that all came about, but as a board member and a resident, both of those are frustrating to me. We need to speak respectfully to and with others, and we're not doing that. We had an employee of the resort who quit yesterday. Started the day and didn't make it to the end because of attitudes of people, excuse my language, who are pissed off about something. Now, my mother would tell me I should use angry instead of what I just said. I'm sorry. We have a lot of people who have chosen to speak from opinion, not fact. And we need to find out what the facts are. They've chosen to use social media, which the board is not allowed to use. We can't use Facebook, so we can't respond to any of those things that occur. I'm concerned that we have a new board ready to come in less than a month, and that we need to make sure that we support them, and that we give them an opportunity to be successful. We all want them. I'm sure there's not a person in here that doesn't want them to be successful. So you need to throw your support behind them. And if you have questions of them, you need to ask. They'll answer them. Not on Facebook, but they will answer them if you call them. In my world, I go outside and smoke my pipe in front of my garage and they stop. And we have that conversation. Ask the people who can answer the question, whether it's the board or whether it's management. That's where you can get your questions responded to. None of the board members, nor none of the residents are experts. My definition of an expert is someone 20 miles from home that's a drip under pressure. None of us are experts. Even at our age, we can still learn and we can still ask questions. And we need to do that. We have a choice where we go from here. So I would like every resident to take a deep breath and look to the future and see if we can eliminate some of the acrimony and divisiveness that has been present for the past 6 months, probably, maybe longer. We all need to be in the boat facing the same directions with our hands on the oars to move forward. If we choose not to do that, we'll swamp the boat and we'll all find out individually how far we can swim. I don't think many of us want to do that. I believe that this resort has a very positive future. And it's up to all of us, board members, residents, to do whatever we can to ensure that future. And it has to be that we can listen to each other, that we can value the committees and we can value people so that we can move forward. We cannot continue with the acrimony and nastiness that we have seen. Now, that's not easy for me to say, but I got 7 days left and I'm not going to wait any longer to say it. I appreciate your attention and I hope that we can move forward from this point, because the frustration from you as residents and for us as board member is pretty close to unbearable. So let's get in the boat, grab the oars, and move forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Steve. I also wanted to give just some estimate numbers. Of course, as Steve mentioned, we had an employee chase other opportunities, left yesterday. So I'm currently waiting on some admin rights to get exact numbers. But around 340 plus residents requested paper ballots, meaning over 1,600 or 1,640 were sent emails. As of yesterday, we've had around 350 completed, and then around 53 emails bounced back to us. Now, working with Election Buddy, we are sending out reminders. You may have seen them already that are coming from Election Buddy. And for the people that have been bounced back, the reminders are a hope that it kind of cycles through your emails, given your privacy security settings. So we are working on that, but again, I'm currently waiting the admin rights. That way I can get exact numbers. So just a little info. I would like to introduce some of our department supervisors. We'll start off with Hector down here. You want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hector. I'm in charge of the landscape crew. Currently, we have 7 employees. You see us around every day, cold, in the cold weather and the heat. So we're there. So if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer.
We'll get to some questions
Okay.
later. Hector's guys are always busy. You guys see the beautiful landscape that's out there. They're also assisting with some of the landscape architect design that we have going on. You'll notice some of the red gravel that is slowly getting implemented down Happy Trails Boulevard, and there is more to come. You know Sharon, but I'll let you meet her again.
Why you gotta say it like that, Brad? Hi, everybody. I'm back from medical leave, as most of you already know. Thank you. Only part-time, don't get excited. Do you want me to talk about what I need now or just introduce myself and let it go?
You
Okay.
can now, and then we'll open up for some short questions and let these guys get back to work. We know they're busy.
Okay, so I just want to run over a couple things with you guys now that I'm back. You can't be so naughty. Your flags and your banners for your political, please make sure those are all down. And if any of your neighbors aren't here today, can you please pass the word? I'd rather them get the word now than getting a love letter from me. But they will get a love letter if it's not down. Also, before anybody leaves, please make sure that your little palms or trees are trimmed in the back as well as in the front, so that doesn't fall on your lot care. Because we had a lot last year that forgot to get lot care, forgot to trim the trees, and then they got upset. The last thing is, please no more free stuff sitting out in front of your house. I probably won't even stop by on this one because I've tried to catch everybody. You're more than welcome to have free stuff, advertise it on your Facebook group, but I don't want to see it because, as you know, it takes one person to leave it out there for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then a mattress comes out. Then we kind of looking like we living in a different part of the neighborhood. So I would really appreciate that if you don't mind, and maybe spread the word for me a little bit. I don't mind you emailing me, sending me pictures. Just know when you do, I am then working on it. I have a process that I have to go through. Can't just run up to somebody's house. You don't want me running up to your house. So I appreciate your patience. Thank you, guys.
And then just to piggyback on that a little bit, we also have the bulletin boards in the library, whether it's free or you're trying to get compensation for it. You can advertise on the bulletin boards. There's postcards that are available all the time. So there are multiple avenues besides the front of the lot.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Deanna Evans. I'm the DRC administrator. I'm the one who issues the permits when you have some requests to do. The only thing that I'm thankful. Everyone that's come in has been very nice, and I appreciate it. And just know our phones are back up. You can call me if you need to. No, they're not? Okay. I'm sorry. No. So I'll just continue to send you emails.
So I just want to let you all know, not only do our landscapers, I'm sorry, I have to stand up. I think it's kind of rude to be sitting down talking. Not only do our landscapers and our maintenance crew do their day-to-day activities, they also set up here in the PAC Center for events. They set up for Vendors Day and any other, they set up for the happy hours. So there's a lot of other things they do behind the scenes that no one is aware of, but that is our crew that does those items also.
And we'll pass it on to Joanna. She's super excited to talk to you guys.
Well, good morning. My name is Joanna Morales. I'm in charge of housekeeping. Currently, we have 5 women, and I'm in charge of all the cleaning of all the resort. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Al Davies, head of maintenance. Some of you already know me. We have a total of 5. As Darlene just stole some of our thunder, we handle all the setup, tear downs, daily work orders, large summer projects, and out here, the chuck wagon, flooring. We do a lot with 5 people. So I hope you guys appreciate it.
Al, can you give us an estimate of how many work orders you do a month?
A month? Just depends on how many large projects we have. So, but I would say an average of probably 50 at least, if not more.
Good morning. I'm the patrol captain. This is Carla, my XO. We have probably about 13 officers that work with us. We're here 24/7. All right. I think last month we had probably something like 6,700 people came through the gate. We also have maybe 300 people that come in for vendor day, and probably over 120, 160 vendors that come through here. All right, we had pickleball this past month. That was over 1,000 people, so we've been pretty busy. I know that, a lot of you folks probably know me. I don't know a lot of you, but you've seen me, you know who I am. But my door is always open. If you have issues, you have questions that you need to get with us, you can either contact me or Kyla. We'll answer your questions. I know that a lot of people get frustrated with a lot of the folks that come through here, like the Lyft drivers and the Uber drivers. I want people just to remember that we try to give everyone directions on how to get to a lot. We even give them word directions, or we give them a map. If they request it, we ask them. Sometimes they throw it back in our faces. So it's not that we don't give directions. I know people ask us, did you give them directions? Yes, we do. We do, but some of them may not speak English. They don't understand it. There's a couple different dialects that we have come through here. Trust me, it's pretty difficult. So I just want to let everybody know that we try our best to give people directions to get where they have to get to. Just remember, if you have an Uber driver or Lyft driver come in, for security purposes, you don't have to give them your last name, but give them your lot number. Okay? And then we know, because they tell us, well, I want to get to David's or Cindy or whoever, and there may be 10, 15 different Cindy's or David's or Williams or whatever. We don't know who all those folks are. And we try to help them as best we can. If you have any questions, always contact me and I'll answer them, or I'll find out for you. I will never leave you hanging. All right? Thank you.
Before I open it up for questions for them, these are the folks that really make this place go. I mean, a lot of it you don't see. A lot of it is, you just kind of expect it. A perfect example is we had a resident call the health inspector on our pools and bathrooms just recently. So health inspector came and we passed flying colors, and these are the folks you can thank for that. So again, some things you don't see, but I can guarantee they bust their butts every single day here. So I think we should give them a round of applause. And we'll open it up for some quick questions for them. They're awfully busy, so I'll try to get them out of here. But if there's any questions for any of us, please step forward to the podium.
Yes, good morning. My name is Terry Walters, lot 497. Not as eloquent as Mr. David was, Mr. Steve that was up here. I've got a question regarding the paper ballot that went out. Talked to Darlene, had some information on it. House Bill 2321 from Arizona on mail-in ballots says that the ballot name and everything should be on the outside of the envelope. Nothing can be on the inside of the ballot. Yet on, I believe it's page 10 of our ballot, we have to sign off, and part of that ballot then is part of our election, which is not allowed under Arizona law. So I don't know how you're going to handle that. It was a deal I brought Darlene back there a few days ago. Brad mentioned something about 850 votes. I didn't quite catch all that.
No, 340 plus requested paper ballots. The rest were sent, over 1,600 were sent emails for electronic voting.
And I thought you mentioned something about 800 and something.
No, sir.
Well, it must be the years. So I just like to say that I don't think the paper ballots are legal, and I don't know how the board's going to take care of that because they're not valid with the extra signature. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Terry. Again, we went to our attorney and that's what we were told to do. And he
Well,
prepared those ballots.
I don't know who your attorney is, but obviously must not be votes in Arizona law like they need to be. It's just too bad you got rid of the election committee because this is a very part of our elections. It's in the CC&Rs. I hope we have 3 new board members come next week. I hope that the other 4 will take explanation from them and maybe lead like they might.
We thank you very much. Again, this is questions for our staff at the moment. We're trying to let them get back to their day. So the questions, if we could direct them to the staff if you have any, and then we have some other updates we'd like to give you after the boards.
I'm sorry, clarification. We are going to have an opportunity, not now, but we are going to have an opportunity to ask our questions. She wants to know if she can ask her questions later. Not now, because
Yes, you will have an opportunity to, yes.
Lois Trice, lot 2350 now. Bill and I have been here over 20 years, and I just want to tell all of you that I've always been proud of Happy Trails and how to show Happy Trails off to my friends, and many have come and bought because this is such a wonderful, beautiful place to be.
Thank you for that.
If you guys don't know me, I'm sorry. Donna 379. I just want to tell you all, and especially you, little girl, your people do an awesome job keeping this place clean. Seriously. I am so proud of all of your girls. They are amazing. And I just have one question for maintenance. I'm just going to ask, is there any way that we can paint the walk on the lanes a little bit better so I know which way I can walk without people yelling at me?
That's actually something that's going to be in the works this summer. I've reached out to a couple companies and we're going to be in the process of getting some more reflective and then debating. There was talks of maybe using yellow paint instead of white paint. So there'll be some discussion, but yes, that is in the works and
Yay.
definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Mickey Aston, lot 13. Yes, 40 years still. Hector, I just met you today for the first time. Your team and you are amazing. Sharon, I know you. I appreciate what you do to keep us in compliance. I believe in rules. Deanna, welcome to the team. Johanna, you know I love your team. They do an amazing job keeping, especially the bathrooms clean. I appreciate that. I know most of them by name and I love them. Alonzo, thank you for what you do. I talk with you when I see you and I appreciate you. Carla, I just met you a couple days ago. And Captain Dave, I just met you officially. Security is my question. Safety is my number 2. area of importance. Communication is first, safety is second. What is the current process? This is long, give me a chance to finish. What is the current process for checking in the public that are non-residents to come into the community for any reason? Vendors, bingo, church, chuck wagon. There was a meeting I attended with the board president, I believe it was December 2nd, and we talked about capturing and gathering the information of the people who come into our community, because we are a gated community, although not 100% secure. I understand that. July 7th, 1999, one of our residents was kidnapped and murdered. Her name was Eloise Doyle. She was 67 years old. A young couple came in with an infant, took her in her motorhome, and I won't say why, how, but they did murder her, burn her, and run over her with their motorhome. She was a resident. And that was 25 years ago. 25 years ago, when we didn't lock our homes and we didn't lock our houses. Patrol was devastated at the time because they didn't have a detailed process to gather information of the people that came in, non-residents. Things have changed. They haven't gotten any better in our world. So I hope that at that meeting that we had on December 2nd with the president board, and Darlene, you were present, there was reluctance to gather information because it would detain the people at the gate checking in and send a line out to Bell Road. But I think at that time the process changed, and I haven't seen any communication on that they were going to gather names and license plates from dusk till dawn in the dark hours. Can you tell me what the current process is? Because again, I haven't seen the communication on that. And thank you guys for keeping us safe as best as you can.
Yeah, of course. So we do have a procedure that we do follow every time we have a guest to a resident that is coming through the front gate. So we are not only are we retrieving both their first and last name, we also do ask them where exactly it is they are going, so we know the location, whether they are visiting another resident that lives on property or they're going to the chuck wagon or somewhere else. With that as well, we are obtaining what time they came into the resort, their license plate, as well as the state of their plate. That way, for any reason we need to backtrack and look, oh, we know what type of vehicle they were driving, and we have the plate to go along with it.
Thank you so much. And again, I appreciate all of you.
Let me say other thing is that if you have a guest that's coming in, all right, we would like for you to call us so we know, because sometimes we don't know who they are. We won't allow anybody in if they are not on anyone's guest list. We turn them around. So that's one of the basic things that we do. So we make sure. Now, a lot of times you may get frustrated with us because we call you and you may say, well, we already put them in. But if we don't see them on your list, they don't get in. Okay? We won't do that. All right? If you want to know who's going to the chuck wagon, they have a pink pass that's placed in their vehicle. They can see it on their dashboard. You'll know that they're going to the chuck wagon and they're guests or they're playing one of these pickleball
we had to
or
cut
something
them
like
the
that.
other day.
Those are not permanent passes. So those folks are supposed to turn them back in and put them in the mailbox. Some people, when they're coming back in, they'll still have those pink passes, because some residents will say those are permanent passes. They are not. They're only for one day. Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I did call on a vehicle about a month ago that had a pink pass in my neighborhood, and it turned out to be Bradley and a HomeCo employee doing compliance, but they were stopping at every single vacant lot or not occupied lot. So, and you did respond within minutes and address the issue and identified that vehicle. Do you utilize gate access? Because that's what I use for my visitors who come in, either a guest or a vendor, contractor. And do you clean that up, or does anybody maintain that list if it's outdated? Because that's the list I use. I usually do not call you.
So we go based off of what you have on gate access. We do not clear any of that because they're the resident's guest individually. They have told us in the past, hey, this is my guest. I want them permanently, or I only want them for a short period of time. So in gate access on our end, we are able to differentiate if they're only here for the day or if they're on a permanent list.
Perfect, thank you. I prefer the online, and I wasn't sure it was working when the systems were down. Bradley and Darlene, thank you for having such a wonderful team.
Thank you.
I don't know who that was.
Real quick, I do see a question in the chat. For the election, we made our statement. We got our information from the lawyer. We will have, a time beyond this meeting to discuss that. So.
Hi, Deb Dorman, lot 1734. I usually just email my questions, but today I decided to appear. The fountain in the town center, is it going to be repaired? We've heard rumors that it's going to be filled in with dirt, and we really don't want that to happen. That's a really nice water feature of the resort.
Yeah, rumor mill strikes again. No, it's not going to be filled in with dirt. We are working on a concept with the landscape committee on the architect design. And then once we land on the design, we'll go forward from there. Right now, that fountain is a 3-tier fountain. So depending on the water feature they want to use, not all the plumbing is going to be required. So, we want to do it right the first time. So we're going to get the design first, make sure we're on the same page, and then it will be repaired.
So it'll still be a water.
Correct, from everything I've heard so far. Yep. Was that all the questions for the staff, or you got one more?
Joanne Giroux, lot 2189 and 2159. I just wonder about the individuals that might have submitted a ballot without a signature, or even did the election buddy without it going through because of some mistake that they made. Are they going to be notified and be given a second opportunity?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Election Buddy?
Election buddy as well as paper
Okay.
ballots.
So Election Buddy, we have a notice going out every morning, except for the weekends, reminding people to vote. Now, some of the people that got kicked back with Election Buddy rescinding out those, that might force their email to come forward with that email. We also have a list of, because we've been checking, and some of the emails that we have are the ones that you've all provided to us. So we're hoping that some type of a firewall, and again, if you get enough notices, your firewall will open up to release those emails so you can vote.
So I want to make sure that I appropriately ask the question. If someone voted and didn't complete on Election Buddy, for example, did not complete the voting process, and that was kicked back to you, will they have a second opportunity to vote?
Well, as far as I know, Election Buddy will not accept your submit if you didn't fill out the ballot correctly.
Okay.
So electronically, you're forced to fill it out correctly.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to submit your ballot without it being properly filled out.
Okay.
Now, within the mail-in ballots, we are dealing with a few bounce-back emails that we are currently working through. Again, the hope is that some of the reminder emails helps the email cycle through your security settings and actually show up in your inbox as opposed to going to spam. Now, for the folks that it is for whatever reason, I mean, some of them are, to be honest, kind of older emails.
Yeah.
I saw a Juno in there, which was, something I had at 15. So we were working with that. And then when we get to a point, we can, cycle through it and hopefully get paper ballots to the folks for whatever reason, their emails. We're not accepting the electronic ballot.
Okay, and then if someone submitted one that they did not sign, is it going to be a valid vote? And I'm talking about the paper ballots again, or is it going to be set aside and
By
it
the
doesn't
rules,
count?
it should be an invalid vote if they did not sign it.
And they don't get any kind of notification to say you didn't complete your ballot correctly?
We don't even open them until the 14th.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, so that's never been done in the past either. But I will let you know that so far we've probably gotten over 100 of the paper ballots returned to us out
Oh,
of 300, a little
okay.
over 340.
So what if someone actually remembers that they didn't sign their ballot? can they get a second paper ballot?
Again, unfortunately, the
No.
rules are in
They
place,
don't
and we
open the
won't know
ballot
until
till
the
they
day of
look
the
to
counting. So,
vote
I mean,
for the day of
we
the,
won't know until we start counting, and if they didn't sign it by the
till
rules,
they
that would
start
be an
counting.
invalid vote.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
always
thank
been
you.
the thing. If you don't fill it out correctly, it's not counted.
Brad, can you answer that one on the chat?
Nothing new there.
Okay, we got one more on the chat. Will you read the question too, please?
Why that many people?
What Dave is
would
saying is
about-
not truly true about guest. I was alerted to a guest coming to my home a few days ago. That person was not on my guest list, nor did I get a call from the gate.
You're supposed to
Let
call
me
the
answer
gate.
that. Sometimes someone may drop off at your lot and they're not supposed to be there. If that happens, you give us a call, we will investigate it. Sometimes we may even hear that lot number incorrectly and we put it in. But what the system does is when we put that lot number in, it goes and it pings you that someone's coming to your lot. All right? If it's not right, you let us know. We will find out why that's going on. Okay? But sometimes we may hear it wrong, or the officer may put that number in wrong and the person's going to a different lot. But you got to let us know and we'll fix it. But I like to know if we find something that's incorrect and you get a lot that shouldn't be there, we'll fix it. All right? I'm always open to
Okay,
getting calls on any issue that you have, and I will always return your call. Okay? Yeah.
I have kind of a trivial question for the lady that handles the signs a question for the lady who handles the signs and stuff in the front yard. Who is that? I'm recent. I recently bought my property just a month or two ago, and I come back a week or two ago after being gone, and as I pulled up in front of my house, there's a sign that's about 2 feet tall and about 1.5 feet wide, and it says, "Keep off my golf court path. We're going to arrest you if you walk, you bike, you walk your dog, whatever." And it's right in my front door as I pull into my house, and I'm thinking Happy Trails. Hell, I'm going to go out and put a sign next to it that said, "Welcome to Happy Trails." I think if I'm fine with the golf course feeling that way, but I think they should put a small sign, kind of move it from my front door, so that when my guests show up, they go, "Hell, what kind of neighborhood are you living in?" Could we get that golf course to pare those signs down a little bit, and move them out from in front of our doors? I live in 262, right next to the 11th hole, so it really makes you look like, what the hell's wrong with this community? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. And yeah, some of them the signs are in awkward places. I reached out to Jason. We also have a new board liaison that's working with, or a golf course liaison, I apologize, that's working with Jason. He told me that those signs are strictly to keep the golfers off of other property besides the golf cart path. I know some of the locations and the verbiage on the signage is confusing, and that's something that we are currently working with Jason to get that corrected. If that's it for the staff, I'll let them get back to their busy days unless anybody else has any questions for them. All right, and I would like to give a IT update with our phone system, and I'll try not to bore you with it. Of course, it's quite the process, and I've learned quite a lot going through it, so it's fun. Our system prior to this was set up to be a server on site, which was in our electrical room, and everything was built to be hardwired, meaning with an Ethernet cord in. And that's including our phones. Our internet came through our phones and then to the computers, tying it all together. Now that, of course, was pieced together through 40 years, and Atlanta's in a tight spot. So as we went to a new IT company, the switch, caused some configuration problems, and we realized that our firewall protection was not good. We ended up getting a virus, and the firewall protection we had did not track anything. You could not see where viruses came from, how long they were in your system, who opened it, nothing. So we were blind on where this virus came from or anything like that. We've now upgraded so that we are no longer a server on-site based, we are cloud-based, therefore giving us more security, and we've upped firewall protection, of course, so now we can track and understand where these viruses are coming from. Now, unfortunately, the downside of that is that the phone system was also configured with the network. So we had to go in, and with our old IT company, Merit, we had to release FCC Port Authority phone numbers, and there's 91 phone lines tied throughout this whole community. Are they all used? Probably not, but I didn't have the time to sort through it at that time. So we had to get all 91 lines transferred over, which is where we're at right now. They're working on porting all of our numbers over. Now that's fax lines, the 911 lines you see at the NC1s and NC2s, and the phones in our offices as well. So there's a lot of configuration going on with that, and that's why Deanna is excited, because we're getting close. We're awfully close, but there's still some hiccups that we're working through on it. But it has been a long process, and I know it's highly frustrating, especially the communication getting to the front office or even patrol. And that's why we went to the track phones for a little bit, at least to try and, allow folks to get a hold of us somehow. So it has been a process, and we are working through it. I can tell you that for the computers in the cloud, we are moving forward, and that's going to give us the ability to then move forward with front steps and get away from neighbor. Of course, there's a few more steps involved with that configuration, and the same thing with the phones. We're in the process of porting over all 91 numbers and getting those sorted of which ones are used, which extension goes where, and that fun stuff. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. We're getting awfully close, and highly appreciate your patience during this time. I know it's frustrating, and it's frustrating for us as well. So I don't have much more than that, I don't think, unless you had anything else, Darlene. Do we have any other questions? Again, election questions, we'll have to address at a different time. The town hall is strictly for management to be asked questions.
I just have a request. Debbie Heim, lot 1157. Could you please print out a list of all the people that we saw here, or department heads, whoever they are, a phone number and the names, so that, and then put them up like in a bunch of papers, so at the mailbox, or in the mail room, so that we can pick them up if we want to and know who to call in case of for whatever the reason. I mean, there's a lot of people here. I've been here since 2001, and I don't even know some of the people, or heads, or some of the departments. So
sure, and we can definitely get names of the supervisors. With the phone numbers, we tread very lightly, because the downside of that is they're going to be called by 2001 residents. So the process is that you would come to me or the front office for a work order, or to address anything with landscaping, housekeeping, or maintenance. Work orders in the front office, or if I'm available, you would come to me, and then or patrol, you would write up a work order as well.
Thank you.
You got it.
I'm Barb Fugelberg, lot 205. I'm here representing the Safety Committee. The Safety Committee has tasked us with looking at having a small ad hoc group or focus group, really addressing the issues of speeding and stop signs. And notice we've talked about that in our meetings, and a notice went out in the blast last Friday asking for volunteers to sign up for that. We're going to be holding it similar to how Steve Deal handled the issue last year with sanitation or trash. Looking for about 30 people who will be willing to participate in a focus group. So a blast did go out last Friday asking for volunteers, and we also had Sue Deal put that on Facebook. As of yesterday, we've only received 3 people who volunteered for that committee. And my sense is, looking at Facebook and others, that there are more than 3 people in this community who have ideas or thoughts or ideas of how we can address this issue. So I encourage you to, if you're interested, if you have opinions, to please participate in that group. Thank you.
And Barbara, I will send out another blast along with that and keep that moving as well.
And you can pick up the applications for volunteers in our office if you don't have access to email.
Karen Stewart, Lot 1389. My first question is, when will we have the meeting where we can discuss election questions?
That's something we're in discussions with the board with right now, and we will work on a date.
Obviously, time is of the essence since we are in the middle of election period. I appreciated the comments very much by Steve earlier today, and two of his comments I am particularly in agreement with. When we have questions, when we have concerns, do not put it on Facebook. Send communication to management who will get it to the board to answer those questions. I have respectfully followed that process. I am asking, when will I receive the answers to my questions? I have written the questions, presented it to management, who understands not authorized to answer them, but the board is authorized, and I would like to have respectfully the same consideration that I received those questions. Answers to my questions. Secondly, Steve mentioned that Facebook will not be used for official communications. Is Sue Deal continuing to put, nothing against her personally, she has the best of intentions, is a well-meaning person. She continues to put statements out on Facebook that appear to be official communications that is not shared on our website or e-blast or etc. So why is that continuing to happen? If she is not an authorized representative, can we have a clear statement on the Facebook page stating that?
That's something we are working with the communications committee with. Again, us as management has nothing to do with that Facebook page. I've sent out a blast, I believe it was earlier this week, it could have been next week, stating such. Again, the Facebook pages have nothing to do with management, therefore we have no control over it. We don't run it, we don't admin it, so management is kind of removed from that portion. It is something that we're working on with communications. I understand that, you know, there is some confusion going on out there, but again, we don't deal with the Facebook pages. All I can control is what we put out on blast, which is to the best of our knowledge, the correct information. Whether someone grabs that and changes it and puts it on Facebook, I have no control over that. So, our blasts are the information, and that's what I stated in the blast, is that anything from management will come in a blast as an email. From Facebook, we are not posting anything. We are not anything with Facebook.
So does that mean her posts are not official communications?
They're not official for management.
Are they official from the board?
Not that I'm aware of.
Thank you. I have heard board members and personally stated to me that the Happy Trails elections have been illegal for the last 5 years. I would like to know what is the basis of that statement. If that statement is correct, I think the whole community deserves communication about that and not being spread in happy hours like it is gossip. I respectfully, we have so much issues going on with our election. We need to restore faith in our elections, faith in our process, and that is not the way to do it.
Again, we got the information from the attorney. We were not aware that it has not been done properly the last few years. It's based on Arizona statute 33-1812, if I'm not mistaken. So you can look at that. A6, I'm being told it's page 36.
I happen to be looking at that statute as we speak. I have it right here. And you would note that 33.1812 is entitled Proxies Absentee Ballots. It only applies if a plain reading of this statute is correct to proxies and absentee ballots. It makes a reference to 10.3708, which outlines the ballot process we currently follow. I'm not an attorney. I cannot do a legal opinion of that statement, obviously. I am not asking for the legal opinion that you've received, but I am asking for in writing the factual basis for that statement. Next, this is an attorney who publishes a guide to managing elections. And it's for small communities where you can pull out a page, notice, fill in the blanks, and send it out to your community. On this, they indicate proxies, in this state of Arizona, thing costs $99. Proxies require a signature. When you flip to the next page, sample ballot, it does not require a signature, supporting my layperson interpretation of 33.1812. Since the rest of my questions have to do with the ballots, and primarily my concern, it's been misstated what it takes to change an amendment in the bylaws, I again respectfully answer, I followed the process. I am asking I receive my answers. Thank you. No. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Steve. I recently moved to Lot 87 here, and you recently addressed some issues about the telephone system and your computer system, and you suggested, I think I recall you used the word viruses. Can you let us know if we are at all in danger with any of our personal computers that are tied to your network?
Not that Lee Chinook has let us know. The viruses that were hit were the PCs Lee Chinook took back to their shop, rebuilt the hard drives on them, and that was as far as the damage goes in that sense. Nothing personal from any residents was damaged.
So the hard drive that supports the wireless network is not vulnerable?
I'm sorry.
Is not vulnerable?
No, not anymore.
Okay, thank you.
You got it. Anything else? Any other questions? Was there anything in the chat, Steve? I'll see if I can end this before Mickey gets to the mic.
Mickey Aston, Lot 13. Bradley and Darlene, there was a comment from a woman, and I did not hear everything she said about who to contact for what, who the main contacts were. And I realize we don't need to know who all the supervisors are, because the process is to go through who.
Right.
So this was something I asked months ago to the communications committee. The board liaison was present. I asked that you come back and introduce all of the team members, and you have, and I appreciate that. That got done. But the person, the liaison, told me, no, it's all posted on the neighbor network, that people should be able to go look and find the information they want. And she can lead horses to water, but if they don't read it, she's just gonna have a bunch of thirsty horses. So I appreciate it. Please post it on paper, put it in the mailroom, put it in the information center, put it in the neighborhood centers, how to contact who for what.
We sure will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mickey.
If there's no other questions, we really appreciate you. Oh, we got one more? Check that, sorry.
Deb Dorman, lot owner, 1734. My question is, who's paying for the computer upgrade and the phone upgrade?
We have a contract with a company called Lee Chinook. So it's being paid for by the association. We have a monthly contract with them that we pay.
Okay, according to the book I was given when I bought my property, Homeco, and what your responsibilities are, it says, our responsibilities are to run the accounting program and use computer software specially designed for the particular needs of this community. That makes me think that Homeco should pay for this.
No, what Homeco does and provides to us is Caliber, which is what all of our accounting is on. We do not pay for that. That's provided by Homeco. As far as our internal computer systems, that is and always has been the responsibility of the association.
So when you negotiated the contract to take over the management, did you evaluate the computer system? Because it says it's 40 years old and was inadequate. That's what Brad put in his blast.
Well, I said it was pieced together over 40 years. So, you know, the unfortunate part is I stepped in as operations manager as this was going on.
Mhm.
I knew that Lee Chinook had some concerns. Now, the viability and how fast it would do what it did was unknown to anybody. Again, there was no way to track anything with our dated firewall protection. And they knew that right off the bat. They said we would, you know, we're going to have to upgrade all of this. And the hopes were that we could slowly do it, not creating a big cost at one point. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and we had to do the upgrading we needed to do to make everything protected. Now, the good thing is that Caliber is not within the network. It's a web-based program through Homeco, so that's why no residents' information, account information, or anything was at risk.
What is the cost to homeowners for this upgrade?
I don't know the exact number, so I don't want to, you know, get too far out there. The original, I believe the monthly original was 37, and we're possibly looking a little above 4. But again, those are not exact.
4,000?
Yes, a month.
That's better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I was a little worried it would be more, but so far that's where we're at.
Okay, thank you.
Mickey Aston, Lot 13. I have a computer question also. We had a different IT company called Merit, M-E-R-I-T. I think that was through the Homeco agreement, collaboration. And that recently changed. I believe off of the financials, that was approximately $20,000 a year. And I believe a few months ago, 6 months, we changed to Lee Chinook, based in Tucson. And that cost to us is approximately $45,000 a year. At what point did Merit do an evaluation on our hardware or software systems, or did they ever? And if not, I'm glad that we changed to a different company. And when we obtained support through Lee Chinook, did they do an evaluation on our system months ago and advise us that our system was outdated and that we were subject to hacking? And did we abide by their suggestion at the time?
So again, I stepped in kind of in the middle of this. Merit, I know from a personal experience, were difficult to get a hold of. We were told they would come out. That didn't happen. Again, I'm kind of in the middle of, you know, coming into that. So we did have issues with them. And then, you know, we were trying to get some sort of monthly bid schedule going. They wouldn't, you know, do that for us. So we decided to move on from Lee Chinook, who would offer us all these services. And yes, they did do an evaluation, and they told us that we needed to upgrade. The hopes were is that it would be kind of, we could piece it together, you know, upgrade as we went along. Unfortunately, after the viruses and the switch from Merit took us into a warp speed with that, and we had to upgrade everything faster than what we wanted. But yeah, they were aware of it, and they were, again, the hopes were that we could, you know, say do the server and the firewall and then move on to upgrading PCs and everything. But unfortunately, with it going down, we just had to do it at one shot.
So Lee Chinook is the company, the new company that advised maybe we could just do it piece by piece?
Correct.
Okay.
To upgrade.
That didn't work out
No,
well.
well, to upgrade, not over like the 40 years, but to upgrade our system. They came and looked and they said, yeah, your server is, you know, on-site server. A lot of folks don't do that. That leaves you vulnerable. Your firewall can't track. That leaves you vulnerable. So yeah, they were aware, and it was in the process of being upgraded and that talked. But once the viruses hit and took us down, we had to jump and do what we had to do.
One plus with having Lee Chinook is they're out here twice a month to look at our systems and make sure they're running properly, which we did not have with Merit. your question about did Merit do an inspection of I've been here almost 3 years, and not since I've been here they haven't. So I don't know when the last one was done, if ever.
Thank you. It's sometimes difficult to piece together old technology and new technology, so I'm, I guess, happy that we are moving on with a whole new system to have things hardwired and to have no firewall and no Wi-Fi capabilities. It's difficult, and I do hope that Lishonak continues to meet the expectations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for your participation and showing up today. We highly appreciate it, and have yourselves a wonderful day. Thank you.